Crypto is now on easy mode. The money is rotating at this moment from Bitcoin and meme coins into the higher caps, and we know how the rotation works. It goes from Bitcoin plus whatever the hype is at that moment, in this case meme coins, to the high caps, to the lower caps, to the micros, and that's why we have an alt season. And I want to talk about the most overlooked sector in crypto where I have most of my money allocated, and also a couple of coins that I think are the outperformers for this market in that sector. So this is going to be alpha. Welcome to the Fomo Factory. Like the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Let's get right into it. If you want to get these calls earlier, more stuff, there's a link for the Alpha Factory down below. Exclusive community. It's this, but better. So yeah, less ADHD as well. Like, I'm focused, right? But first, what do we see? It's crazy, right? You have to pay attention these days, because the things that are now pumping are the coins that are completely shit. If you look over the last 24 hours, right? This is quite interesting, actually, because Bitcoin over the last day is having a small pullback. It's cooling off. I mean, hey, it went up a little bit, so yeah, it could go down a little bit as well. Overall, the altcoin market did pretty fantastic as the Bitcoin dominance was going down. But the Bitcoin dominance is now also going up a little bit. So what do we see? We see altcoins on the day having a good pullback, right? And that's fine. But the weird thing here, or the weird thing, if we understand it, it's not weird. The thing is that some of the bad projects, the older coins, the dinosaur coins, right? They are the ones pumping like crazy. We have Sandbox going up with 55% on the 24-hour. Decentraland, like between you and me, that project looks like shit, but it's up 33%. And it's not like, I know there are low cap coins that do 33% here and there. This already has more than $1 billion market cap. There is a lot of money injected in these projects, right? Tezos, Stellar, Gala, Jasmine, Cosmos, like all these coins are now doing quite well. And if we look what the losers are, yeah, it's what you see mostly meme coins right here, right? Bonk, Dogecoin, XRP right now, but it's kind of cooling off after the run that it had. We have Floki, Brad, Doc we've had, Pepe, Popcat, etc. So what you just see right now is what we said before, and it's exactly playing out like that. At the moment, the market isn't, or at the time that the market is not doing anything, like here, or going down, people feel like, it's boring because I have the attention span of a panda and I need action, right? So what do people do? They throw their money into meme coins. They are looking for the thrill themselves because the market isn't offering it to them, right? So they have to take a buckload of risk and maybe something moves in their portfolio to the upside. What you, however, see right now, it's what I said earlier, and it's quite funny how it plays out, is that as soon as the market goes up, this is what happens. People do not need to take a lot of risk anymore. Crypto is risky enough as it is, right? So they don't need to gamble in meme coins anymore because the utility coins, the ones that if the market crashes have something to fall back on, they are going up, right? So why in the world will people now trade meme coins? Higher risk and at the moment lower reward. It's pretty cool, right? How it exactly played out like that. So this is what we will see more often. I do think that the altcoin market, I mean, it just had a pretty decent run together with Bitcoin. It should cool off anytime now. Maybe now. I mean, if you look at the USDT dominance, we talked about this multiple times, but it never did not bounce from this trend line. And if you zoom in, it looks like it wicked exactly at that trend line, right? So this could also be a place where we consolidate for a while, maybe a big ass correction, but that's short term. It doesn't really matter because what we see right now is the money flow happening. And I've been talking about the money flow a lot lately. Usually my content is understanding when the market goes up, when what goes up. But now the market already went up and it will keep on doing that in 2025 likely, but the total crypto market already made new highs, right? So now it's just a matter of the money that is here flowing into the coins where you are or in the coins where you are going to be before it flows into these coins. And that's what I want to discuss in this video, because there are sectors in crypto. Like, of course, in a bull market, kind of everything goes up, right? In 2021 as well, almost everything peaked out at the same time. So it's not that there will be a separate gaming run or a separate AI run all the time or whatever, but there are always sectors in crypto that have a period where they outperform. We just had the period where meme coins outperformed, right? And maybe it's a little too soon to say that that's already over, but we at least already see the beginning of the next phase, right? And you want to be there before the rest of the people are, basically. Now, if you're watching this video, then I assume that you've been in crypto a little longer, and we can actually outperform. Right now, you want to choose the sectors that where the money goes next. In my last video, I said like, hey, I think that AI is probably the next sector, right? However, it's not only AI, and there is one sector that will explode, in my opinion, hardest, because it's the most obvious sector as well. But it takes a little time, I think. And that's great because we have time to position, right? The only thing that could be holding you back is your own conviction. I will try to make sure that your conviction is good in this video. So if you haven't smacked the like button yet, please do so. I try really hard to navigate this as safe as possible while gaining as much upside as possible as well. And we are approaching the stage of the market where we are allowed to take more risk because, hey, the altcoin bull run has finally started, it looks like. Right? The Bitcoin bull run was going on for a while. Altcoins now follow. The sector that I think is going to have fantastic gains, and I will name a couple of coins, are launchpads. And I said this many times before. I also said it about gaming, and people sometimes they agree with gaming, sometimes they disagree with gaming, and both have good arguments, although I think gaming is also one of the most obvious sectors. However, launchpads, I think we all understand why launchpads will go up. Now, a crypto launchpad is basically, you invest money in, for example, Seedify, right? You stake their token, and by staking this token, you get access to new launches. Now, why will this go up? Again, launchpads are kind of doing what the market does on steroids, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, when the market goes down, yeah, everybody and their bags, it goes down, right? So people don't feel like, I'm going to participate in new launches because one, they don't have the money for that to participate. Two, all these launches fail, right? Because people take their money out immediately after TGE because they need the liquidity because the rest of the market is down, right? So in a bear market, launchpads go down really hard because there is no demand for it. In a bull market, however, there is a lot of demand for it. There's not really a midway there. In a bull market, if you look at the altcoin market, right, and we zoom back to this part right here, like I think between you and me, here we go, just to compare something, right? I think we are somewhere here, right? Think away this crash, right? Otherwise, we went up right here probably. So I think we're somewhere here, right? We haven't made new highs on this peak yet, so yeah, this maybe. So here in this stage of the market, people finally started to earn money again, right? They were making money with the bags that they were holding because they were early on coins. Here, when the market goes up, everything is going up. So one, people have money, right? But two, they are not early anymore. And that's how you make money in crypto. Very simple. Like that's the only thing that makes you money in crypto, by being earlier than anybody else, right? Or the most, at least. Therefore, they pump your bags, right? That's how you make money. So people are not early anymore because coins are already mooning. Now, what is a relative low risk way in crypto to be early into something? By investing in launchpads and participate in new launches, IDOs. IGOs, whatever, right? That's how you can do it because you can buy all these meme coin fair lunches or whatever. Yeah, that's still gambling. And again, why would you gamble in a market that's going up anyway, right? You don't need to do that. So the only way to actually be early, or one of the few ways at least, and the best way, is to be in lunch pads. So everybody wants to get in these lunches. Plus, because it's a bull market, there's a lot of liquidity. These projects can raise a lot. They are not likely, at least not so much, projects are not so likely to fail once they launched. What we just seen in the crypto market is that pure disbelief stage again, right? We just had a pretty decent mini altcoin bear market, basically. Some projects chose to release here. Yeah, and the market showed like, yeah, we don't care, you're gonna fail, right? Most of the lunches, they did not succeed right here. And people therefore say, new lunches are dead, lunch pads are dead. And therefore, these launchpad tokens are now like crazy cheap. And that's the opportunity, in my opinion, right now. Well, in fact, of course, if you release in a market where everything is going down, yeah, who's going to pump it up, right? Who pump it up? Nobody. Nobody is going to pump that. But in a bull market, they are. And therefore, launchpads are now such a great buy. And I'm not even talking about participating in the lunches yet, but just a launchpad token is already a great exposure, in my opinion. It's my portfolio exists for a very big part out of launchpad tokens. What we also saw is that a lot of projects they turned a little arrogant, right? We see in a lot of projects like, I don't know, Starknet, Portal, name a couple, right? They were like, yeah, man, we high class, biatch. So we just gonna release on a casual $1 billion market cap. Like, expect upside. Like, nah, no, that didn't happen, right? And therefore, these things all went down because nobody bought it up. And it was at such a high FDV. It was only dumped by VCs, basically. Well, luckily, the market and the people within the market mostly, and these launchpads saw the problem, right? And they are working on that problem. So what we are going to see right now is a shift. Projects that are going to release, they know, like, okay, the moment is at least now better than a couple of months ago. Two, we also have seen that if you release on a way too high FDV, yeah, then it's also going to fail, right? So what we will see is a lot more lower cap coins with lower vesting, better vesting as well, and lower FDVs, releasing in a better market with more money. No brainer. No brainer for me, actually. So, therefore, I feel like nobody is really talking about this yet. Right? But it's not different than last cycle. Right? There was no demand right here. Projects, whether they fair launched or whatever. Right? But there will be demand right here because simply people have money again and they have trust again. And that's gonna kind of completely do the other thing. Like, of course, like I said, in a downwards market, yeah, new launches fail. In an upwards market, they don't. We've seen it here as well. In this stage of the market, I talked a lot about launchpads as well. I don't know if you participated, if you were there already. If yes, we made killers on Chain GPT, on AI Tech, on whatever. A couple of these projects, Hypercycle, like I made quite a lot of money with such a low risk form of investing. Sometimes nowadays people, they want to gamble in the meme coin market to make a 10x. Man, I made multiple 10x's right here and it was safe. Again, why is it safe? Because, well, relative safe. Why? Because these launchpads, they have a refund policy. If a project comes out and it did a 3x, 20% vesting, feel like, okay, I get 60% of my money back, I'm not sure, just refund it and go to the next one. There will be a lot of projects releasing in the coming year, right? So no worries. That's so beautiful about this. Now, there's one problem. There's one thing that makes it a little more complicated. And that's that a lot of projects, they saw like, oh shit, launchpads are like performing in bull markets hard. We're going to create a launchpad. And now there are like more than 100 Launchpad projects. And a lot of people, they only look where to get the highest allocation. And that's, of course, super important. I mean, if you get a shit allocation on a good Launchpad, yeah, what's the point, right? You are doing it to sorry, I put on my sound. You are doing it to get a good allocation, right? That you can invest a lot of money, whatever is a lot of money for you, that you can multiply. And the multipliers, by the way, I'm gonna cover that at the end of the video, are sick, right? That's meme coin kind of shit, right? Really, but day one meme coin kind of shit, aka the same rewards, but not the same risk. So what you want to look for when it comes to a Launchpad, because there are a lot, right? Let me show you actually. If you go to categories on CoinGecko and you type in Launchpad, then you will see that there are, I don't know, man, really a lot, like 200 or so, right? So what to choose from actually? What I would say is, and I'm gonna call some, but if you just want to think for yourself, which I recommend, then I would say look at the combination of a couple things, right? Yeah, look at the allocation that you are getting compared to the amount of tokens that you need to stake for it. For example, Solidus AI Tech. I love the project. I was an early investor. I think their Launchpad is good, but I know with Web3 Whales, we staked like $60,000 worth of their tokens and we got $300 allocation. Yeah, that's not worth it. Then you can better buy this token and not stake it at all, but just as a Launchpad token in the hope that that token goes up, right? But if you actually want to participate in the launches, look for a decent allocation. The ratio on ChainGPT is fantastic. The ratio on Seedify is also fantastic. Yeah, it will cost you a lot to get the highest tier in Seedify. Then again, you also get a lot of allocation. And with one good pre-sale, you can have your complete investment in the S1 token back, right? So yeah, sometimes people say, it's so expensive. It should be. Launchpad should be a privilege. Because if everybody can join, then everybody buys these tokens in the pre-sale. Then once that token comes out, nobody buys it on the open market. They all join the pre-sale. So who's going to pump the bags that you bought in the pre-sale, right? You have to think about it like that. So look at allocation, but look at refund policy as well. If a Launchpad doesn't have a refund policy, then it might be because they do seed sales or private sales, and that's normal. But if they just do normal pre-sales, public sales without refund policy, yeah, then you are saying to yourself like, hey, I'm taking a lot more risk right here. And I don't know why, because there are a lot of Launchpads that do have that policy. And they also are different from each other, right? One says refund policy, claimable for yourself, you have 1 day. The other says you have 7 days. The other says it only applies if the token that we release goes below IDO price within 24 hours and stays there for so long and la 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 la. So always research that. Now, of course, like any other project, you just want to check the team. Is the team transparent? Do they know what they do? Etc. 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 I also like it if the UI is simple, right? With ChainGPT, for example, or Seedify, it speaks for itself, really. But there are also Launchpads you really have to look like, oh, where can I find this and how can I participate there? That's not attractive for new investors. Okay. Now, another thing, most Launchpads, they go back for a while already, right? Now, there's this website, cryptorank.io, that I use all the time. And for example, you can find, again, Seedify under the Launchpad section. And here you can actually see what ROI they had, the all-time high ROI, right? And here you can see that Seedify actually released projects that did fantastic, right? 40x, 30x, 70x, 100, 160, 180, 700, right? Interesting side note, it was mostly all peak bull, end of 2021. So expect the real fireworks end of 2025, okay? So that's also like something you want to find out, like, did they actually release projects that do well? Or are they just picking shit projects? Now there are a couple of calls, and I'm not saying that you should buy it or whatever. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. I'm just putting my mouth where my money is in this case. Um, so the coins that I hold, my biggest one is CeDeFi. I think CeDeFi has the most innovative team when it comes to launchpads and everything around it by far. It's great what they do. They were fully about gaming first. Now they also do other stuff. They do DeFi, blockchain services, L1s, L2s, AI. They had an AI jam with 10 projects under $1 million market cap. So that was also like, yeah, I don't know, man, pretty interesting actually. Um, and CeDeFi shows also that they can reach heights that a lot of other launchpads don't even come close to. If you look at the market cap all-time high for CeDeFi, last bull market, it was like 340 million. The nice thing is CeDeFi was one of the fewer projects that this year made a new all-time high of 350 million. And this was not during launchpad season or IDO season or alt season or whatever. So I think that this could be easily achievable again. Price is different because there were more tokens that came to the market, and the vesting for the CeDeFi token has really cooled down a lot. Like here, you could have staked your tokens for a high APY. It's now barely anything, and that's what I like. I don't need to stake my tokens for high APY. I want a token that I have to maintain that value and go up. So CeDeFi is my top pick actually for when it comes to launchpads. It's also my biggest bag. I think that CeDeFi is going to do fantastic, and I don't want to make price predictions because they're going to be wrong anyway. But what I can tell is I think they will go way higher than this 350 million. And that's at least a 3.5x from here. Now, for such a safe investment, that's a pretty good return. Next one that I would look at that I have, and this is not necessarily in particular order though, is Paid Network. Paid Network is a launchpad, ran by another YouTuber. I don't know how to pronounce him. Kyle Kase, Kache, Chais, Kache, I don't know. But this one is really, really, really interesting as well, purely price-wise, actually. They were first on the Ethereum chain, and they changed to Base. I think that that's such a good choice. Base is going to be one of the most popular chains, in my opinion, for the 2025 bull market. That's where the retail can really step in. Plus, Ethereum is too expensive anyway, right? So currently it has $26 million market cap, 36 fully diluted. So it's pretty low cap actually. And if you look at the price performance, then this is just really clear to me. Like they had this run up right here and they kind of were stuck at 4 or 5 cents, right? And they went all the way to like 40 cents basically when they broke out. So good 10x right here. Now, during the last phase of the market where all altcoins cooled off, this thing cooled off harder. Again, launchpads, they take a bigger hit if the market is not positive, right? And it gave us that opportunity at 4 or 5 cents again. And it's when I mentioned it first, it's now 6 cents. Don't look at this and be like, oh, it's too expensive. Just look at the range, man. It's the range. It's in buy zone right now. Can it go back to 4 cents? Of course it can, right? For sure. But we don't know. And since you should not try to time the bottom, I think that this technically is a screaming buy, in my opinion. And Paid has also pivoted kind of to focusing on releasing more low caps. And that's what I think is very smart. The next one that is in my portfolio is ChainGPT. I participated in the pre-sale for ChainGPT and I made real good money with this, like a 40x or so. And I sold most of those bags, but I still hold a good bag of ChainGPT as a launchpad and as a token that can grow as well. Because ChainGPT, it kind of has the same market cap as CeDeFi has. ChainGPT did everything right from the start, man. They sometimes have a little, the only thing that I could say, like sometimes they announce that a round has started and then the UI is a little lagging, and that problem occurs a lot more actually. But that's like the only thing that possibly comes into mind if I want to think about something that could be better. They did everything right from the start. They have a great team behind it. A lot of people from Engine started went to Change GPT as well. Um, and this also has the AI narrative. So as a coin, it automatically has a hype as well. And they release really good projects. They have a pretty decent track record for the fact that they are actually been launch padding since the market wasn't even that much a success. So I think in a bull market they will release some killer projects actually. And purely technical wise, let's take a real quick look at ChainGPT. Now we're here. Um, Here we go. Let me show you just what I see in the charts. Right? I don't know. Look, it's kind of that ChainGPT has a good bunch of support around this level, basically. As you can see here, 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 here. And once we break out of that level and make a higher high here, then I think that this thing is going to rip. So let's say 18 cents or so. And currently they could still be in this range for a while, right? I think anything between 10 and 16 cents, give or take, is a good price for Chain GPT. And again, this is not your 100x coin or whatever, but then again, it's relative safe investing with relative high reward. Plus the projects that these launchpads release, they do make 100x's, and that's not exaggerating at all. We just saw it with Seedify. Look, 100x's, like, they were made multiples and higher than that, and that was not even an exception. If you look at Paid, for example, the thing that we just discussed, Paid had ROIs of let me see past, yeah, this doesn't make sense. Filter, here we go. 260, 190, 180, 170. They had multiple 100x plus projects, right? Dayton Arena, you know it. IOZ Network, Star Atlas, Sidus, right? Like Good Games Guild. They have a real good track record, actually. So that's pretty interesting. This is where the real money is going to be made. As you see, again, it is on peak bull. Q4 or April 2021, right? Again, if you look at the altcoin market, Q4 was here, and April was kind of that first stop. So that's like the explosive phase is yet to come. I'm not gonna name all the launch pads that I hold. It's gonna be I'm gonna forget some, and it's gonna be a long video. There is a link for the Alpha Factory. There I do show my complete portfolio and what I hold and when I buy it, etc., and way more. So if you're interested, you can check that out. Be part of the exclusive community. But to show you one more, for example, I do think that these are the slightly higher caps, right? Except for Paid, maybe. There are also high risk, high reward launchpads, of course. And one of those is Gains. Yeah, and this is not even high risk as in being a new or whatever. This is just low cap, right? And that could be really a good thing. Gain started out as a private sale platform, and they released AVAX, for example. Also Blocktopia, the same that Cetify released, but then the private sale, and that did 1000x. Quants, I think. Yeah, they had a lot of interesting projects. And now they also have a public launchpad. So, with refund policy and a lower amount that you need to stake. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, if you look at Gains, $3 million market cap, 6 fully diluted, also super low cap. And if you look at this run, which I think is super important, this last run, right? I said that before, but the crypto market always offers us a sort mid-cycle run, and in that mid-cycle run, you can kind of get a preview of what's going to happen in the real bull market, right? And that's what we got. It's what we got right here as well. We had that mid-cycle run. We saw, oh, this is gonna outperform. Okay, Now it goes down, gives us a chance to step in, and then we can ride it up. This bull market, again, we had that mid-cycle run, cooled off, gave us a chance to step in, and the bull market began. This time is exactly the same. It's funny as hell, right? And therefore, we should look at this because this is the same market conditions, same everything basically. And what you see is that gains went to a market cap in this run up already of $20 million. Right? It's now three. It's $3. That's crazy. That's a 7x from here, give or take. 7x. And this should not be higher than the peak that we are about to get. Because again, this was with Bitcoin when Bitcoin was sitting at 40K, right? And altcoins, they kind of catch the bit against Bitcoin. The period where we have alt season, where altcoins really outperform Bitcoin, while Bitcoin is 100K or more, that's about to come. And then these things rip, right? So I expect at least a 10x from here for this project. So gains is in my portfolio. I need a little more actually. I'm kind of, while I'm telling this, I'll be like, why don't I buy more, right? Like crazy. So let me write that down. Buy more gains to make more gains. Yeah, actually that's pretty simple. And I want to give another, a high risk, high reward launchpad that so far is the highest risk. But I do see the upside, and that's Spartadex. Spartadex initially was a gamified DEX, just like DeFi Kingdom, but then on Arbitrum, and they moved to Linear. How do you pronounce it? Linear. I don't know. When I shut down the video, I know. Anyway, Spartadex. The only thing that isn't working for them is the adoption, and therefore the price growth. Right? Other than that, as a launchpad, they are really good and really original, and they make it really easy as well. And I don't know. I talk to the founders now and then, and I feel his passion for it. They're not giving up, and that's also what you saw right here when everything kind of performed well. Right, this thing went from 9 cents to $1.25. This thing ripped 15x or so. And it's now sitting at that 7 cents again, right? And the market cap is maybe a little different. Yeah, 1.2 million, and it's now 2.7. But the upside is really there for Spartadex, in my opinion, as well. If they survive, if they succeed, which is always an if with such new low cap projects, then it will be a real explosive one. So that's one that I really, really, really like. And again, there are a couple that I haven't mentioned here, but I don't want to make it too long. You get the point. Look at the more than just allocation, or more than it's just low cap. Look at the combination of those, and you will be fine. I think that launchpads again are one of the outperformers this cycle. Also for a reason, because they are now underperforming. So this is the only sector that you can actually still buy the lows in right now. And it's obvious to me that this is going to be a big winner, this whole sector, in this coming bull market. That's yeah, I don't know. I kind of try to explain it. There will always be people that be like, oh, no. Okay, whatever. Then be sidelined. I don't care, right? This is going to be one of the biggest winners in this sector. And you should have some launchpad exposure to your portfolio, in my opinion. So if you like the content, if you appreciate it, me being here this Sunday, you don't care, I do, my wife does, then please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and I'll see you guys in the next one.